Good morning, everybody. Hello, I'm Jenny Mcfarland with the Tucson Audubon Society. Thank you for joining us this morning. And it is Giving Tuesday, my favorite Tuesday of the year for sure. It's a really important day for nonprofits all over the world where folks come out and show their support for the work that nonprofits do. And at Tucson Audubon, we've really been emphasizing urban habitat and how important it is to plant native plants to support wildlife, birds, and pollinators. And this morning we are at the Desert Meadows Park in Green Valley. So Desert Meadows Park is a wonderful spot. It is in Green Valley, Arizona, south of Tucson. And this is a really, really cool spot. It is in an urban neighborhood. So let me just show what this area looks like. We have a neighborhood right here, and then right here is this beautiful park. This is a project of the Green Valley Gardeners Club, and they do such a beautiful job putting all sorts of great native plants and water features and bird feeders and gazebos and places to sit. And if you haven't heard of this site, let me tell you a little bit about it. So this is in Green Valley and is right off of Continental Road. This is literally right on your way to Madera Canyon. And it's actually quite close. It's just one exit before Canoa Ranch. So it's actually a really, really cool spot, and it's beautiful. I've been here several times now throughout the year, and it gets tons and tons of birds. So right now, let's just look at some of these really cool plants. So this is, we have here some Mexican oregano and a really beautiful orange globe mallow and some sages and all sorts of different flowers that are blooming right now. Even though it's December, we have some beautiful different flowers that are blooming right now. And this is actually really, really important for all sorts of native pollinators. We're having, like the Greg's butterfly mist is blooming right now. Having a variety of different plants that then bloom at different times helps keep pollinators as happy and healthy as possible. Having different blooms at different times, staggering different sorts of plants really helps make sure that the pollinators have something to eat. This is quite a birdie area too. We have some white-crowned sparrows on the feeder. Oh, some on the ground right there. Got a couple of hummingbird feeders. This really is a beautiful spot. And also with me this morning is Kim Tompkins of the Green Valley Gardeners Club. Good morning, Kim. Hi. And Kim here is a member of the Green Valley Gardeners Club and also an avid birder. Do you want to say anything this morning, Kim?
Yeah, I come to this park usually about 3 or 4 times a week because I also have a raised bed garden over in our community garden over here. And I like to come through here and walk my dog and usually carry my binoculars because there's so many native plants and just a lot of really nice vegetation for the birds to come through.
Ooh, and a bird just flew through. That's great, Kim. Thank you. So why don't we head on down and see more of this park, because it's actually a pretty large park with a lot going on. It has some different sort of themed gardens throughout the area. Little pockets. The plants are labeled, which is really very nice too. This is such a lovely place to just come and learn how to make a garden for wildlife and pollinators. Okay, so this plant right here. So this one, Kim, what were you telling me about this plant?
Actually, this is the Heckberry, and then that one also is hair. And
Oh, excellent.
Berry, there's a ton of birds. And then we've got down here the blue, I already forgot.
Blue bee balm?
No, the bee balm is actually down further.
Oh, okay.
It isn't even, there isn't any leaves on it. But that's a very active place to bird because this morning there was verdins and white crowns and chipping sparrows and Abert's towhee just in that one bush.
That's great. And you know, I'm hearing so many birds singing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of things are blooming. Lots of different food sources here. All right. See, now you can see we're in sort of a... Oh! Curve-bill thrasher on the saguaro. Wait. All right, so let's go ahead this way. Check out the community garden. So it's got different parcels, Desert Meadows Park. in Green Valley, just off of Continental Road. Got some different stuff here, so it's quite a large area, and it abuts a braid of the Santa Cruz River, which actually helps bring in a lot of really cool birds and wildlife. There's a community garden. And do you have a plot in the community garden, Kim?
Yeah, a plot in the community garden.
Fantastic.
I've had it for about 2.5 years.
Good. So it's both a center of community activity,
Yeah.
a really good place to gather. There's lovely benches. So I'll sometimes, recently after I found out about this place about 2 years ago, I would come here and have lunch on my way to Madera Canyon, or on the way out of Madera Canyon. It's a really beautiful spot. There's some native grasses, which is always a really good source of food for many birds, and host plants for many butterflies use native grasses. Okay. And some lovely
There's a
art.
memorial garden that they have over here for pets and everything. You can put a plaque on there for your pet or
Fabulous.
and if it's in memory of someone that had passed.
Oh, how nice. So this is both a lovely just sort of community spot. Okay. Got a hand cleaning station. Tap. So I know it's a little hard to see into the sun, but this is a braid of the Santa Cruz River that heads, drains into the Santa Cruz. And really important to help support these areas between sort of natural areas. It's this desert wash on our right and this neighborhood on the left. Putting in patches of native plants like this really helps create these really biodiverse hotspots for wildlife. And it really helps bring in a lot of great birds. So this is a beautiful spot. I really like this spot in Desert Meadows. This is kind of a demonstration garden of how to do some water harvesting, some permaculture. So they've developed these trenches, and it's planted with native plants along the side here, like this lovely orange globe mallow. And they have some rock features built in, along with a channel to sort of gather rainwater. Some blooming Mexican honeysuckle. There's in some jojoba. This really is quite lovely, right on the edge of the community garden here. A water feature. Really great way to bring birds and wildlife. Some lovely native grasses. Some lantana. Like wolfberry. It's just really, there's a lot going on here. This is a really large park. Members of the public can come here and get ideas on what to put in their own yard. Some lovely sages and brittle bush.
Yeah, I like this area because my plot's right there.
Oh, how
And so
nice.
every time I come and check on my plot, I get to experience all the birds in this beautiful area that they built
It's really beautiful.
last year.
Yeah, it's
There's
fantastic.
a Mexican redbud tree right here, which is going to be magnificent.
Wow, Mexican redbud, and then this is a really nice big bee bush. It's a really great native plant for your yard. Bee bush here. It attracts all sorts of pollinators. It's a lovely little shrub. It's native. Gets these little tiny white flowers, and they smell fantastic. Bee bush just is a really great plant. And then little lesser goldfinches will come and nibble on the flowers. It's a really cool plant. Let's see here. We got lots of milkweeds too. I'm seeing several different milkweeds, and they're all nice. They're great that they're labeled for you. Got some pine leaf milkweed right here. There's also just some blooming penstemons and Mexican honeysuckle. Some desert milkweed back here, that real wispy one. And yeah, right next to the community garden.
Yeah.
How great. And here we go, Rainwater Garden. So really a great place to come and be inspired by what you're seeing. What's going on? Got some desert marigolds and blanket flower. So this is a great little patch right here for goldfinches. So Tucson Audubon has recipe cards on how to create habitat and This right here is pretty much most of the plants that I had in the lesser goldfinch card. We have,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we have the desert marigold, the blanket flower, the bee bush right there. So this is like a little lesser goldfinch little patch right here.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, what a beautiful morning to be out here in Green Valley. It's a little chilly, but it's warming up. It's going to be a beautiful day. And it's just a perfect day to celebrate, you know, urban habitat, the value of urban habitat, the importance of it. You know, urban spaces take up a lot of native habitat. Original habitat gets plowed under to create urban spaces. And doing this, what you guys have done, what the Green Valley Gardeners have done, creating this beautiful space full of vibrant, you know, food-rich plants, native plants, which generate a lot of native insects and really help create sort of a food source, a food web for native wildlife, and, you know, pollinator support with nectar and host plants. Everything you guys created helps mitigate that loss of original habitats, helps, you know, to make up for the fact that, you know, these neighborhoods take up original habitat. And you've made such a food-rich spot. It's such a perfect place to come in and learn how to do it yourself, how to do this in your own yard, and how to appreciate, you know, all the amazing work you guys have done, and how many birds are here, how it
Exactly.
works. It brings
There's
tons
a
and
lot
tons
of
of birds
birds.
and wildlife.
A lot of birds and wildlife.
So for this Giving Tuesday, Tucson Audubon is celebrating urban habitat. Places like this, places like Desert Meadows Park in Green Valley off of Continental Road, which is a project of the Green Valley Gardeners Club. And I got Kim Tompkins here with the Green Valley Gardeners Club to help me do a virtual tour of this site for you guys and to show you just how great urban habitat can be. You create a patch of your own urban habitat and you will get birds and pollinators. So for this Giving Tuesday, Tucson Audubon is celebrating urban habitat, the value of putting native plants in our spaces to share our space with birds and wildlife. So thank you so much for your support of Tucson Audubon Society. I'm really glad to see everyone who's been commenting and people who are watching. Tucson Audubon loves urban habitat and would really hope that you'll join us to create more native plant habitat and, you know, water features and feeder support, anything we can do to help native birds, pollinators, and wildlife. We can share our spaces in Green Valley and Tucson and Southeast Arizona with native birds and pollinators. Thank you so much, and happy Giving Tuesday. Thank you.
We're rolling.
Hey, good morning. Habitat at Home friends, Facebook friends, friends of Tucson Audubon. Today is Giving Tuesday. We're celebrating Habitat at Home, urban habitat. These are the things that Tucson Audubon's work is based on, bringing beneficial habitat to your yard. We're hoping to inspire you today with a full day of events, Facebook Live posts, and presentations happening later on. Just would love to inspire all of you to get amazing habitat like this in your yard. So hi, my name is Matt. I'm the communications coordinator at Tucson Audubon, and today I have Jonathan with me. He's the director of conservation and research, and we're going to be taking a little tour of this yard. But first I want to point out one important thing that's happening today. We have a one-to-one match up to $5,000. So that's a really awesome deal. So when you give, your money will be doubled, and you will know that the funds that you help raise will fuel all the work that we do at Audubon to inspire people to protect and enjoy birds. So, should we take a tour? There's some pretty amazing stuff happening in this yard. So,
This is going to be really cool.
all right, hi everybody.
There's Jonathan.
Jonathan Horst, Director of Conservation and Research, as Matt said. This was one of our first big Habitat at Home installs, and I want to paint a little bit of a picture first before we actually show you everything that's here. When the homeowners here, we're in the Catalina foothills here on the south side, front range of the Catalinas. When the homeowners first asked us to do an evaluation, they said, what we want is whatever is going to be the best thing that we can do ecologically. We're not too concerned about aesthetics, being able to utilize the backyard ourselves. We want it to be habitat, and we want to be able to get through to get to stuff. So we walked into the backyard, and there was 4 inches of red gravel everywhere. And we were like, oh, and there was a giant palm tree. And a giant pad of concrete with a table on it, none of which is here now. And as if you do a quick pan around the yard, in this neighborhood there's shared wall construction. So the only ingress and egress throughout the project was through these double doors here in the back. Everything that came in, all these boulders that came in, and everything that went out, all went through those doors right there. Plenty of dust. We tried to be as clean as we could, but quite a lot of work. So this place,
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
little cotton
Nice,
hummingbird
nice.
showing up, photobombed by somebody that's much more charismatic than I am.
Yeah, there are so many birds all around here right now. It's amazing.
A lot of the birds disappeared as soon as we started talking. Anyway, there she goes. He goes. So this house has solar panels. They've got a battery bank in the garage. This house is a model of sustainability. If you point out here on the back porch, Matt, really quick, we've got 3 big water harvesting tanks that are all linked together. It's about 2,500 gallons of capacity, which once this backyard is established, should feed all of the water needs for the vegetation, but also all the water needs for this 25-foot long recirculating stream. Yeah, so let's look at, let's talk about the stream.
Let's do it.
All right.
It's awesome.
So keep in mind, all of these rocks came in through the house. We've got a liner underneath, and the goal is for it to generally try to blend in as much as possible, but we also wanted a lot of the noise. Noise of running water brings in the birds like nothing else. So we've got a deep upper pool, some shallower areas, some little rundowns where the water is moving, good shallow places for birds to be able to get in, shallow area for the future desert tortoise to be able to get in. And then down here towards the bottom end, we've got a big pool with the recirculation system. But when the levels are just right, there's big shallow areas for butterflies to puddle on the edges. Also, obviously, it's winter, but during the summer there's a bunch of aquatic plants that are growing up along the edges here and helping to shade off some of the rocks so that it doesn't get too much heat. This yard was a ton of fun to work on. The habitat restoration crew installed everything that you see back here. We've got lots and lots of milkweeds of different varieties to support monarch butterflies. We've got primarily native cactus and agaves, lots of but good structural variation. We've got a bunch of plants. Well, the thing with getting plants really good and established is you want to start out with them fairly small for them to grow and not be too top heavy and needing too much irrigation. So we got a little ironwood tree, a fairly small netleaf hackberry, which once it's big enough then we'll be making fruits. We'll bring in tons of the cardinals and phainopepla and pyrroloxia during the summer or fall for eating the fruits. We've got lots and lots of good red tubular flowers for hummingbirds, tuberosa. There's a bunch more different kinds over there that aren't blooming right now. But like I was saying in the very beginning, this place is a model for sustainability, and one of the reasons that most people don't end up using rainwater that they harvest is because they don't want to have to deal with switching between their rainwater system and a municipal system. So let's take a quick run over to this side of the yard to talk about their resolution to that issue. Alright, so here we are on the corner of the porch. As you can see, we've got a big 1330 and a 660 tank, which are linked with the tank on the other side, giving us about 2,500 gallons. And they're nice and full right now because, well, numerous issues. Anyway, underneath here is a really cool gizmo, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to take it off to show you exactly, but there's a little mechanical piece built in Australia that is an automatic mechanical switch that when these guys aren't pushing enough pressure into the single irrigation system, when they're too low and the pump that's pressing the water from these cuts off, then that switch automatically cuts over to the municipal water supply. So it's a system that you don't have to worry about, what do I do if I'm out of town when my tanks run out of water? This just takes over. It's a really straightforward thing. It requires any pump system requires the city now requires a special backflow prevention valve at your water meter, but it's definitely a doable system, especially if your intent is to irrigate or to run your irrigation for a lot of native plants off of primarily rainwater, but you want to have that backup in case you travel. Let's look at a couple more of the plants here before we run out of time. One of the few remaining non-native plants, there is a tangelo here in the backyard when they bought the place. Plan is eventually to take it out once some of the other stuff is a little bigger. But it is fed with the overflow from the tanks. The other really cool design here, something that Andy came up with, was that in a gusher here in the foothills, they sometimes get huge rainfall events. When the tanks get full and they start overflowing, there's a whole series of tiered basins that the water is running down from one tier, collecting here, going down to the next tier, and down to the next, and then there's an eventual final overflow. So probably will never happen, but if there was a 6-inch rain in the course of a single afternoon, pretty much this entire back would be filled up, but the infiltration rate's pretty good, so they would all settle in within a day or so. Then you could harvest a ton of water in this backyard, making these plants super happy long term. Goodness, I don't know what else is there to say about this place, Matt. Anything else that I've missed? I guess tying this back into Habitat at Home, the residents here have gone all in. They're the highest level of Habitat at Home that we have, but you shouldn't feel intimidated by seeing something like this. You can help support birds where you live with even just a handful of plants and a really small investment. You don't have to have all of this, but the more people that have something like this, the better off birds and wildlife in the area will be. Did you want a final word?
Yeah, before we wrap up, yeah, there's.
All right.
Yeah, wow.
Back to Matt.
Thank you, Jonathan. I want to spend all morning here and see more of what's happening. It's amazing. Awesome yard, awesome work. So yeah, before wrapping up, I just want to say that we have more events happening today. There's going to be 2 more Facebook Live posts happening. The sun. 2 more posts happening at 10 and 11. We have a presentation at 1 o'clock on Zoom, which what's cooking with Habitat at Home. You'll learn all about our program and the many ways that you can be involved and work on your own habitats or hire our in-house crew that can do, crazy stuff like moving tons of rock. I don't know, how many tons was this again?
This was, about 20 tons of rock that we brought in, not counting what we took out.
So, and you don't have to go to this level. You can do whatever you want. So, and then tonight there's 7 o'clock Birds and Beer, where you can, what's happening in your yard? Let us know. Lots of people will be there talking about it. So that should be fun. And thank you for all the support. Thank you for being in favor of all the work that we do. And happy Giving Tuesday. And have an awesome day. Thank you.
Thanks.
Finish.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Olia Phillips. I'm the Citizen Science Coordinator at Tucson Audubon. I'm here today with Carrie Hackney. She is our Restoration Project Manager. And we're here today on this beautiful 1st of December morning. And not only is this the first day, and a warm day actually, of December, but it's also Giving Tuesday. And Giving Tuesday is such an important day for nonprofits. So we're today going to talk to you about Habitat at Home and showing you what one of our most successful programs has achieved and what you can do and what you can learn about Habitat at Home and what you can do in your own yard. So we're actually here in a yard of Bill and Joyce Nelson. They thank you so much for having us. We would like to show you a little bit about their yard features, and Carrie's gonna do a little bit of a tour for you. And hopefully you can draw inspiration from these things around their yard. And as Carrie is talking, go ahead and shoot us a comment and tell us what is your favorite feature is or what you would like to see in your own yard. So I'm gonna hand it over to Carrie.
All right, bear with me. I hope I don't give any of you motion sickness today, but we're going to take a little tour. This is one of the first properties that we did a habitat install at, and one of my favorite parts about it is that we have been able to come back to this property and just see how much everything has grown in. So this all started in 2018 in the summer with tiny 1-gallon plants for the most part, and everything has just really grown in. That's one of the tips we like to tell people is don't be afraid to start small with the 1-gallon plants. I know we all like instant gratification, but the 1-gallon plants really have a lot of vigor, and they will catch up to the 5-gallon plants. So one of the things you notice in this yard right away is all the hummingbirds. There's lots of great hummingbird plants. We have some lavender spice, red justicia, lovely orange flowers on the Mexican honeysuckle. And then another thing we've done here for anyone who has pools, a lot of people have hedges that become great habitat for ground nesting birds. I believe this was all oleanders at one point, but we ripped it out. And now we have some little leaf cordia. We have some hot bush, really great ground nesting cover. Nice little seeds on that. And then another thing about this property, they do have a pool, but they have done something very creative with that. We have managed to capture the overflow. Hopefully you can see this. There's some rock back there. So their water is filtered and cleaned, and then it comes out, and there's plants in those basins, and there's pretty significant amount of rainwater capture. So it just travels along their backyard, and it's caught in those basins. So really great creative idea on how to work with the gray water systems, pool systems, lots more great hummingbird plants. This is blue salvia or mountain sage. Lots of salvias, autumn sage. Great for hummingbirds. I also want to show you another really creative tool that we use to capture some rainwater. Alright, so downspouts are a great place to start when you capture rainwater. So here we have their downspout. It feeds into the bougainvillea, and then it works its way down this beautiful terrace. So I'm just going to zoom out on the terrace a bit. So it just slowly trickles down, and then really neat feature is it comes to a little downspout buried here in the rocks, and it travels underneath the path, and then it's connected to a pop-up valve in another basin so that the excessive rainwater can just go underneath the ground, and then it feeds the other basins in the system. And there are a lot of basins on this property, and I really love how they use that for their overall design. Just looks great. A couple other great features and musts for your habitat at home installs. It's a water feature. This one, we put a little bubbling fountain in the rock. Great place for birds to come and splash in and out. The water just sort of trickles down the rock. Probably the best way to bring birds to your backyard. Alright, so lots of trees, couple other things in bloom that I'd love to show you. We've got a woolly butterfly bush. It's got these lovely little orange flowers. Great pollinator plant, hummingbird plant. Lots of trees, tuberosa. This is a must-have. Got these lovely little red tubular flowers. That is a must for hummingbirds. A couple other fun things going on. That I'm actually approaching their tortoise habitat here. It's a little bit cold for him to be out, but he's down in there. He shows his head on occasion. And we also have some nest boxes. So there we have our Lucy's warbler blocks. And then we have a bat box. Great instructions can be found at our website for mounting those. All right. So I'll just do... Oh, and this is another great plant. If you're looking for ground cover, this is dahlia, trailing dahlia. Dahlia Greggii. Has beautiful purple little flowers. All right, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to hand it off to Oli now, and she's going to tell you about another great feature, our bird safe windows.
Thank you so much, Carrie. This yard is definitely gold. I have already seen so many birds utilizing this habitat. It's awesome. So for those of you that are just tuning in, I'm here at a participant's yard for Habitat at Home, and we're doing a little tour around all the awesome features that qualify for Habitat at Home status. And we're here to celebrate Giving Tuesday. And thank you for all of the people that have already donated and supported us. Programs like this are possible because of your donations. So thank you. As we create pockets of habitat near our homes, we are sharing this urban space together. We are creating habitat for birds, for shelter, for food, for water. But also, as we're inviting them closer to our home, there is a danger of windows. So birds are not familiar with the concept of glass. And well, we as humans, we are familiar with the concept of glass, and yet we still walk into glass doors when they're super clean. I know I have, so we can't really blame them. But they fly into windows because of the transparency, so they see the habitat across the way, or that is reflected in the windows that are mirror-like. So when they fly into windows, they either die or get injured or become stunned and susceptible to those predators around. So what we can do is do a couple things around our yard as we're planning our habitat at home to make it a safer spot for birds. So for example, you would want to put your feeders and water features about 0 to 3 feet away from the closest window so that birds cannot gain enough speed to do any damage as they fly off. Or you can have them further than 30 feet so that they have more room to maneuver. So the best thing you can do though is make your windows visible to birds. And you can do that by external screens or blinds and things like that. Or you can put window treatments up to your liking. For example, we sell these feather-friendly kits that has everything you need. And these create this dotted pattern. And what your eye gets used to it so fast, but the birds can see it and they don't fly into the window anymore. So that's a win-win. And we have other things at our nature shop that you can do and on our website. So you can head over and look for other methods. And we are so excited, actually. Another program that is made possible by you and your donations is Bird Safe Buildings program. We're doing a big launch in January, so stay tuned, and we're gonna help you create a not only bird friendly yard, but a bird safe yard. And in the comments, why don't you tell us what you do in your yard to make your windows safer for birds. I'm always interested. People get so creative with that kind of stuff. So we're excited and we're here on the Giving Tuesday again. So thank you so much for everyone that is donating and will donate. We appreciate your support. Tucson Audubon has received a 1-to-1 match up to $5,000. So that money is doubled up to $5,000, which is amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you at 1 p.m. when we will have our Habitat at Home, What's Cooking at Habitat at Home talk, and at 7 p.m. for our social. So head over to our website at TucsonAudubon.org to learn more about those events, and we'll see you there. Bye.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Jonathan Lutz here with Kim Matsushino at Tucson Audubon Society's Mason Center for Ironwood Tree Preservation and Environmental Education. This is a lovely spot here in Northwest Tucson that we sure hope you come out and visit sometime in the near future. We are located at the corner of Thornydale and Hardy Road in Northwest Tucson. We have several staff that under normal circumstances work here out of the former Mason home. We also have Pima County's first permitted commercial composting toilets, and we have a small classroom for meetings and classes and all sorts of good stuff. Again, hopefully when this pandemic subsides, we'll have lots of visitors back out to the Mason Center. You can visit on your own, and we encourage you to do so, in part so you can see the amazing, mostly volunteer-driven Habitat at Home projects that we have going here at the Mason Center. And Kim is going to help me out by telling you all about that. And at the end of our program here in a few minutes, we'll remind you about all of the other amazing, amazing things that are happening today on Giving Tuesday here at Tucson Audubon. So as you listen, please consider making a gift. This is an International Day of Giving, and Tucson Audubon is very, very lucky to have a $5,000 match. So each dollar raised until we hit that $5,000 threshold is matched. So if you donate $5 after today's program, that's equivalent to a $10 donation, and we really appreciate any level of support that you can give. Seeing a shout out there for our Green Gardeners volunteers. That's led by our board member Cynthia Pruitt and a very dedicated group of folks who help make the Mason Center as beautiful as it is when you come out and visit. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Kim Matsushino, and she is going to point out some amazing aspects of Habitat at Home that are going on right here at Mason. So I'm going to flip the camera around and pan back to Kim.
Awesome.
Hey, Kim.
You. Hey. Yeah, I just want to reiterate what Jonathan Lutz said.
There's too many Jonathans around here.
Special thanks to Cynthia Pruitt and the Green Gardeners for doing such an incredible job with this garden. It's just, every time I come out here, it's just grown and just evolved into something awesome. So I did want to talk a little bit about something new that Habitat at Home is doing with our expansion. It's called Habitat a la Carte. So these are menu options for folks that want to do a little bit more for, we'll say, wildlife in general, not just birds and pollinators. So I thought we would go around a little bit and show some of the menu items that they have here already installed and ready to go. So we'll start over here. So this little area is already a monarch way station. So one menu item that we have now is a butterfly approved garden. So what we're looking for in these gardens are nectar plants, obviously, for adult butterflies, and then larval host plants, so meaning what their caterpillars eat until they pupate. So this is a great example. It has a lot of sage, wolfberry, hackberry. That's great. Sage, a lot of sage. Great for hummingbirds as well. Some great rush milkweed there in the middle. Great larval host plant for monarchs and queen butterflies. Some mist flowers, great larval host plant, as well as really great nectar plant for queens, all sorts of butterflies. You see tons of them on there. Tuberosa is great for butterflies, nectar source, and larval source. There's desert honeysuckle. Some great rush milkweed there in the middle. Great larval host plant for monarchs and queen butterflies. Some great rush milkweed there in the middle. Great larval host plant for monarchs and queen butterflies.
One of the great things about Tucson is we get blooms in the winter.
Yeah, it's great. This is another Rush milkweed, a little closer up. Yeah, these are all great plants for butterflies and their caterpillars. So easy to do. It doesn't have to be this large at all, but this is a great plot. Really big blooms with color, which attracts butterflies from above. Dahlia is awesome. Really great for our native bees as well, which is another menu item. And I did want to kind of highlight their water features here at Mason. We've seen a couple really great houses with really elaborate streams in them, which are awesome. But I did want to point out something simple you guys can do at your own homes. Just like a dish like this, which is like an old pot bottom, and then they just stuck an irrigation line in it, so it recharges it every time the irrigation goes, keeps it fresh. And it's really easy, or you can just put a hose there and water it once a day or however long it evaporates. That's a great option for folks that don't have room nor capacity nor want to put a stream in their house.
It's pretty amazing when we add just a little bit of water, like what it does, right, Kim?
Yep, yeah. Even something simple like this is super helpful for birds, pollinators as well.
That is exactly what I have going on at my house.
Same.
And
same.
yeah, every afternoon it's just like a magnet for birds. And unfortunately I get a rock squirrel that comes in too that likes to live under my house, but I let it slide.
Sure, you appreciate the water.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, this is awesome. The Mexican bush sunflower.
Yeah, this
I've
thing
been
is
trying to find
amazing.
one at a nursery for a long time, but I haven't been successful. But
And look at who's
Oh, the
enjoying. Hey bees.
the bees.
Looking good.
Let's see.
We got about 3-4 minutes.
I also kind of wanted to highlight, we also have a menu item for our bats. So Mason Center has an awesome rocket box up.
Oh, cool.
So I give everyone a look at that.
Yeah, let's check that out.
So bat boxes here in Tucson especially are kind of hard to get established just because our temperatures fluctuate so much. So if you do want to put up a bat box, it's really important to make a large one. So it needs to be at least 3 feet tall vertically, just so they have enough vertical space to move around and kind of adapt to those temperature fluctuations.
Oh, that's something I actually did not know, and I always wondered, like, man, the bat boxes here are huge.
Yeah.
Coming from the Midwest, I'd never seen anything quite like this one that we're walking over to check out. So.
And so this one is the rocket box. So it's 4-sided, so it's pretty much like 4 bat boxes on each side. So these guys are really cool. I think they hold up to a couple thousand bats. And you can post this on a pole like we have it here, or you can put it on the side of a building. Which Bat Conservation International said was a little bit better to put it on a building just to kind of insulate it from the temperature flux. But yeah, this has been up for a little while now. But who knows what's in here, but
Yeah, who knows is right. Oh, cool though. That's really, really cool. And bats are one of the important pollinators we have here.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking about pollinator gardens. A lot of times we're thinking about the bees we were looking at earlier, or butterflies, all the butterflies, and you know, host plants for food and larvae, as Kim mentioned. But bats, along with hummingbirds, one of the important pollinators in the desert.
Yeah, we also have a moth menu item, which are another important pollinators and food source, especially for. So yeah, a lot of great menu items that are new and upcoming, which we'll talk more about on our presentation here at 1. But I just wanted to show you guys some other options of creating habitat at home and give you a little intro to our habitat a la carte menu.
All right, perfect. Thanks a lot, Kim. I'm gonna take my mask off, flip you around. Oh, there's my hand. Yeah, so just wanted to give another. Was our connection. Okay, sorry, connection's a little choppy, but join us at 7 o'clock this evening for some hang time, especially, you know, if you're craving some social interaction, as most of us are these days. Thanks again for your support. Thanks, Kim. You're amazing. and have a great day and stay safe, everybody.